Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I'm Caden. I'll be your host today. Alright y'all, so today we're doing something a little bit different. This is going to be our first reading vlog. I'm so excited. I've tried to make several within the past 6-ish months and they just never came to fruition, and I'm actually so upset about that. But we have our first today. Today we're going to be reading, you could probably tell by the title, but we're going to be reading a new release from one of my favorite horror authors, and that is Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. Oh my god. Okay, so I have had I've been wanting to read this for a year now, I think. I believe this was announced in December 2023 or January 2024. I've been waiting for this for so long, and then when the cover got revealed at some point last year, I was even more excited for this. And now I finally have it in my hands. Also love this cover so much. Holy shit. Holy shit, look at how pretty that is with the gold font. Hello? I'm so excited. Also, the premise sounds so good. This is the chunkiest of Grady Hendrix's books, I will say. I know it doesn't look that much on camera, but she's thicker than most of his other books. This is almost 500 pages. But yeah, I'm so excited. And I'm about to slam this bitch in 4 days. 4 or 5-ish days, we'll see. But yeah, so, okay, for this reading vlog, if you can get your hands on a copy, I highly suggest reading along with me, because I'm going to divide, how I update you based off of chapters. So I'm reading 6 chapters a day. Now, there are some little, in-between bits, but, just read those until you get to the chapter where we cut off at. Anyway, yeah, this is gonna be a read-along, reading vlog sort of thing. So, yeah. Today, and also I will be spoiling as well. That's why I say to read along. I will be spoiling, so, yeah. Anyway, we're gonna read the first 6 chapters today. And yeah, so we stop once we hit chapter 7. That's how we do it. Because I don't know what read 6 chapters means. So I'm like, okay, I'll just read to chapter 7, cut off. So that's what we'll be doing. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go start reading, and then I will update you once I'm there. Okay, so it's a couple of days later. Ignore the garage door opening. My bedroom's right above it. But I'm back home, and I know I said that I was going to try to read the 6 chapters a day. But I lied. I did. No, I literally just was not in the mood to read at all this week for no reason. But yeah. Anyway, I also didn't account for the fact that we were going to be going to my sister's cheer competition this weekend, which is why I got some makeup on, because we support her team here. But yeah, so that's fun. Did that. I listened to the chapters last night as we were driving down to Colorado Springs. And yeah, so I'll go over that in a minute. Right now I'm just removing my makeup. Cause one, damn, my eyes look really different. The eyeliner, damn, I love the eyeliner. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. I don't remember what I was saying actually. Oh yeah. I'm removing the makeup because one, I like doing pre-shower makeup, and I'm gonna shower soon because I feel like it. And also, I just, like, keep rubbing my eyes because I forget that I've, like, eye makeup on. So, yeah. Did I get most of it? I think so. I actually don't really care enough. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I did. That's why we're in the hotel room last night, because we drove in last night, because we had to wake up at, like, 7 this morning, because, yeah, we had to get there early. But anyway, oh my god. So let's talk about the book. Let's get into that now. Oh yeah, and, like, the reason I look so ass right now is because this is post-shower hair from last night. And also, I just don't give a fuck. Like, I'm so tired that, I genuinely just want to go lay down and watch YouTube right now. But anyway, getting into the book, so we start off following our main character named Nevia, not Nevea, but Nevia, I think. I think that's how they pronounce it. I don't remember. It's basically Nevea, though. And it's around whenever Nixon was in office, it's like the 60s, 70s era. And our main character, she's in the back of her dad's car, crying as her dad is driving, like, very pissed off, not talking to her. And we find out that it is not only because she's 15 and pregnant, but also because, like, when she was supposed to be hiding out, like, waiting out this pregnancy at her aunt's house and hiding from people, she snuck out because she hadn't brought any books to her aunt's house, so she snuck out to buy some, and then her aunt obviously checked on her, and was like, oh, this bitch isn't here, and her dad is sending her to, oh my god, the Wellwood House in St. Augustine, Florida. So anyway, yeah, she, like, tries talking to her dad and, like, trying to bring up stuff that, like, they do together and, like, the hobbies they have together, to try and be like, hey, you don't hate me, right? And he basically tells her, I wish you were dead right now. Yikes! And because she's, like, pregnant, she's, like, second trimester, early third trimester, but, like, she has to pee a lot, so they stop at a gas station, and he gives her his wedding ring, because around this time, like, if you were a teenager and pregnant, it was even worse if you were unwed, you know? So, yeah, the wedding ring. Anyway, we continue. Next chapter, we pull up to the house, and our main character goes inside. She immediately meets a couple of other girls, and they seem to be some kooky little characters, but she's like, oh my god, it's a little bit reassuring that they're pregnant like me, and they're around the same age as me. She's a little comforted by that, but she's still kind of freaking out because she's like, oh my god, like, I'm gonna be, sorry, my dog. Anyway, she's like, oh my god, like, I'm gonna be here and everybody, like, the only thing anybody's gonna know about me is that I, like, fucked up and now I'm pregnant, you know? Like, she's like, I was stupid and now I'm pregnant and that's all everybody's gonna know. But anyway, she gets a tour of this place from some of the other girls, and then, as she's taking that tour, she looks outside. Her dad is leaving without saying goodbye to her, which is the one thing she really wanted him to do. He's just splitting. And she's like, well, great. What the fuck? Like, bro, what? We promised. You promised, rather. But anyway, that happens, and yeah. So she meets up with the woman who owns this place. I forget her name. And she basically just gives our main character the rundown. She's like, okay, you're not going to use your name or your hobby, or, like, nobody is going to know about your life outside of here, like, where you're actually from, your real name, etc. And she's like, great, I hate this, but sure, whatever, like, I can start fresh. So she gets her name and her, like, where she's from, and she's Fern from Baltimore, so I'm going to refer to her as Fern from now on. But anyway, So yeah, Fern gets her new name, and she's like, wow, I hate this. I'm Fern from Baltimore. Amazing. But yeah, she starts to talk to these other girls. There's one other girl there who she, like, is actually she, like, kind of clicked with a little bit, where she's like, okay, safe person, and that's Hazel. And she's just this kind of nerdy, like, bookish looking girl, around the same age as her, I believe. And yeah, so she just kind of gets settled in. They have dinner, and she finds out. Also, sorry if this is out of order. I'm really bad at, like, recalling all of this, but basically all the girls are sat down for, like, their first meal together, and we start to kind of get a sense of the environment, because these girls are, like, bickering over their food, like, not being salty, and they're like, what the fuck, bro? Like, this shit does not taste good, and usually it does. And they're like, okay, what the fuck? And, like, just kind of arguing, and sorry, that was my mumsy. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah, so they're, like, bickering over the food and everything, and then, in comes the, like, doctor of this place, because, like, basically the like main adults we have here are the chef, the doctor who is, like, the maternity doctor. We have a social worker, putting quotes around that, also quotes around doctor, anyway. And then we have the woman who runs the place, and the doctor is the woman who runs this place's dad. Yeah, anyway, the girl asks him, or, like, asks him indirectly. She asks the cook first, but he answers. She's like, why the fuck is it's some other girl named, like, Myrtle, I think. And she's like, why is the food actually so bland? And the doctor's like, oh, well, this other bitch Daisy, who ran into the bathroom earlier, like, once Fern got there, and I forgot to mention that, but, like, basically she snuck out, bought a bag of chips, and went toxic. I don't know what that means, because I'm not good at, like, doctor-related stuff and maternity-related stuff. But basically, yeah, so he's like, so none of you get salt until you learn how to restrain yourselves. And everyone's like, are you fucking kidding me? Basically, something tells me that this is not how you're supposed to eat when you're pregnant, by the way, because they all have, like, very low calorie meals, and I'm like, ooh, I don't think that's not. But anyway, so yeah, that happens, and then they just eat the meal, whatever, and then we cut to Fern going to bed, and she's with this girl named Rose, who we met at the beginning. She's, like, super hippie, and honestly, girl, I love her, because she, like, keeps being like, fuck people of power and stuff, and, like, screw she's just a hippie, and she's cool, and I love her. But anyway, she's just kind of being a prick to Fern that night, and then cut to the next day. We get a really uncomfortable doctor checkup between Fern and the doctor, the guy who's, who's, like, restricting diets and stuff, and he's just, like, super icky and weird, and he gives, our main girl her, like, due date. Even though she already got one from her pediatrician beforehand, she got a new one from this guy, because he's like, oh, honey, I'm a real doctor, not a pediatrician, I'll give you, and, you know, and it's like, this is weird, also because, well, one thing, these girls take random vitamins, like, just random vitamins that they're not telling these girls what they are, and also, Hazel, who, I don't know if I named her, but she's the other girl who, like, clicked with Fern. She is going into town for, like, to give birth. But anyway, so, just super, so yeah, this doctor is weird and creepy, and he, like, does a pap smear and everything to check on, like, the baby. I don't remember fully. And then after that, she goes to meet with the social worker, who is basically the most obviously manipulative bitch I've ever seen, because she's like, she gives Fern a form to fill out that says that she's gonna surrender the baby once she gives birth. And she's like very, I mean, it makes sense for the time, but she's very much so like, oh, well, I mean, if you love your baby like a real mother would, you would want them to live a good, healthy, happy life with somebody who could take care of them. Because, like, a lot of stuff at the time, it was very hard for single, like, especially in these girl situations, single, or, like, unwed, um, single, like, teen moms to get a job or anything. So yeah, obviously Fern signed, she's like, fucking, yeah, make life easier for me. And then, yeah, I think that's where I left out. No, she tried to socialize a bit, and it failed. And there's also a girl who's as young as, like, newly 14, which is kind of sad. And then let me try and see. Oh, yeah. And then we get the reveal that this girl named Rose, I think, wait. Yeah. We also get a reveal that this girl named Rose, who I already talked about, she's the hippie. She wants to keep her baby, and has already named her Blossom, which is so cute. But she's like, yeah, me and Blossom are gonna get out of here. We're gonna eat real food, not these fucking vitamins and these low-cal bullshit meals, and live a happy life while basically everyone else just kind of lives a very sad life. Which, period queen, again, I love her. Here, I'm checking to make sure that I didn't, like, miss anything. No, okay. Yeah, and that's where we left off. So, I'm gonna go read the next 6 chapters of this, so stop. If you're following along, stop when you get to chapter 13. I'm trying to look at the page. Stop once you get to page 143, because that's where I'll be reading to. And yeah. Okay, wait, personal feelings. I forgot I should probably talk about how I'm feeling about this. I'm really liking this so far. I think it's a very interesting setup, and knowing that this is gonna go in the direction of, like, the craft, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for Fern to, like, maybe transform into, like, this bad bitch who, like, is kind of like Rose, where she's like, I'm gonna keep this baby, and if you try and take it from me, I will actually slaughter you. And also, like, I think that I have a theory of what's going on, and I think that the girls who are giving birth aren't actually being taken to give birth and then are, like, being sent home, because that's obviously what's gonna happen after, or, like, is supposed to happen. But I think that they just, like, take them to the hospital, but really are just old yellering them just to the back of the head in like an old shed in the back or some shit, you know, where it's like, oh, it's actually going to be revealed that this is like a murder farm or something crazy. But I'm so excited to find out what's going on, and I'm already feeling a very found family trope, which I eat up. I'm loving this so far. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go read more of this. It may be like a day or two before I check in, being so for real though, because I'm not in the mood to read today. And there is one other thing I do want to read this weekend, so I think I'm probably just gonna get to this next, like, on Monday. I don't know, we'll see, but I'll update you guys. So yeah. Okay, editing me here. I've already finished the book. I just can't believe I never provide context for this clip, in any of my updates, but what happened, here is that I had to make a new, like, library card for for the library that I was using on Libby that had the Grady Hendrix book. So I made it the library card, and I forgot to, like, return it. Or, like, I didn't return it on purpose, because I thought it would give me access to the book still. It didn't. So I made the new card and I had like a month or two worth of hold like time I would have had to have the book on hold. Um, so I had to spend an Audible credit, and that was me crashing out over that because I thought I was gonna have to either just quit the vlog or spend an Audible credit that I was saving. I spent the credit. But yeah, I was really upset about that, and I forgot to mention that. So yeah, that's what that clip was. Okay, so it's been a couple of days. It's Tuesday now. I actually read yesterday and I had time to update, but I also didn't because I finished working out and then I showered and then I had to get onto AP research and then it was bed by the time I finished that. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, so I got up to chapter 13 last night. And let me just give a quick refresh as to what happened, especially for those of y'all still not following along. But anyway, so first off, there's this girl named Myrtle, and she's like the only one around the house who knows anything about pregnancy, even remotely. She has her baby, except she doesn't like tell the adults immediately for whatever reason. So our main character finds her giving birth in the bathroom, and then she's taken to the hospital, and we don't actually know what happens. We're told that there were some complications, and it may be implied that she died, which I will actually be so upset if that's true. But yeah, and then after that, we get a new girl who comes in. Her name is Zinna. Her name is Zinna. And she's the first black girl, which is a little bit like she doesn't feel awkward about this, but like once everybody walks it takes her a second to be like, oh wow, this is like a white ass place. But anyway, yeah, so she's introduced, and then her, Rose, Holly, and Fern, those are like the four who will get really close. They all start to get really close, and then they make an agreement to like get really long good books, so that way like because there's this book mobile that comes, which I think is actually a real thing, but it's like this van or this like school bus that's repurposed into a library that comes for them. And they're like, oh my god, it's gonna be another like 2 weeks until it shows up. Let's pick out some good stuff. Do that, except they all get turned down, so they just kind of pick up random books and just get the fuck out of there because they're all having issues. And then the librarian kind of like picks out Fern, and she's like, you're different than the other girl. Oh my god, no, it's not like she's not like other girls, but she's like, oh well, your friends needed to get the fuck out of here, but you are trying to pick out actually good books. Here's this book, and she gives her a book that's like, oh my god, what is it called? How to Be a Groovy Witch, and it's this like $5 paperback that you'd buy at like King Soopers, right? And she's like, Fern is reluctant, but she takes it and then she reads it and she's like, oh shit, this is cool. Introduces the other girls to it, and she's like, oh my god, this could fix all of our problems. And also, oh my god, I forgot to mention this in the bus. The librarian lady, she like repositions Fern's baby, like just using her hands, which I don't know if that's possible or not, but she just moves the baby off of Fern's bladder, and she's like, oh my god, I don't have to piss all the time. But anyway, so she's like, oh my god, I think, she's like, holy shit, this could solve our problems. And Zinna, she's very sick. All the time she instead of like how she throws up as much as like Fern pees, and they're like, oh my god, let's try a spell. So they try a spell and they do it on the doctor because they just don't fucking like the guy, which fair. He's weird and he's an asshole. So basically what happens is that they have to like, they do the spell, but they have to like give Zinna's sickness. Sorry if you hear my garage door opening. They have to give Zinna's sickness to somebody else, to remove it from her. So they give it to the guy, and he like spews, in front of Fern, and she's like, holy shit, it worked. And yeah, so they're doing that, and then they kind of look at the other spells and they're like, nothing's really, that interesting, and maybe this is a dead end. Maybe we only had one cool spell. And then I don't remember if there was anything else important after that, but then, or like, in between that and then this last little bit, which is where we left off, it's like the middle of the night, and Holly, Zinna, and Fern all wake up. Rose is in the attic bedroom, because that's where they were gonna put Zinna, and they're like, and Rose was like, you're gonna put the only black girl in the attic, you fucking bitch. Like, I'll go sleep up there. Give her my place. Anyway, yeah. So, these girls wake up and there's a big black dog, like, at the doorway, and they're like, holy shit. And then Holly, who's the youngest, she's the, like, 13 going on 14-year-old, or, like, newly 14-year-old, but she's like, oh my god, dog. So they all follow this dog outside to the shed. Rose is already there, and they get led to this, like, lake, which is, like, past the boundaries of where they're allowed to go in this, like, house, I forgot what the place is called, in the Wellwood house, like, it's past their boundaries where they're allowed to wander, and then they get to the lake, and that's where we left off. So yeah, I'm still loving this. I'm still so into this. Oh my god, I feel like carrying this around school, I feel like I'm a kid in the 80s who's like carrying around their like shitty $5 mass market paperback horror book from King Soopers, like, oop, sorry, low battery percentage. Anyway, like, I love it. I love this so much. I'm loving the story. I'm very interested to see where we go from here, because hexes were mentioned. Yeah, and I'm also interested about the dog and, like, what happened with Myrtle. So there's a lot. I'm very excited. I don't think we're gonna get answers today, obviously, but, like, yeah. So, okay, if you're following along with the pattern by now, let me do some finger math. Okay, wait. Okay, so 12 plus 6. So 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18. So stop at chapter 19, which is, oh my god, let me try to find it. Where is it, girl? Okay, stop at chapter 19, which is on page 123. So right here, stop right here. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go read. Okay, I thought that was like an abnormally awful chunk of pages, but that isn't. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna go get to reading. See y'all either tonight or tomorrow when I've read more. Okay, so I don't know how long it's been. I think the last I read was on either Tuesday or Wednesday. It is now Friday. So, whoopsie daisy, I started my AP research project, and it is very time consuming. So, like, girl, I don't have a lot of time to read. Which sucks because it's gonna take me all of February to do. And it's kind of like, oh, it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's very time consuming. That's what I was trying to say. It's very time consuming, which is so cute. But yeah. Anyway, oh my god, also today, I forgot to like take footage of this, but me and my friend went to Target on our off block, and I got myself a little book because I felt like spending money on a book today. So I got Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, especially because ooh, sorry, my sister's DoorDash is here, I think. Especially because February is literally tomorrow, and I've been wanting to read this for so long. So yeah. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I like got distracted by the people outside. But anyway, yeah. So, okay. Let me catch us up on what happened. So, pretty much our main characters actually they like became witches. They agreed to be a part of the librarian's coven because she showed up at the lake where we ended off last time, or in the last little section. But yeah, so she showed up and she was like, hey, so basically you gotta be in my coven if you want to learn how to do magic and shit. I mean, she didn't use those words, but basically that's what was happening. Anyway, so yeah. And then our characters were like, I'm okay, thanks, actually. But then Holly, who is the 14-year-old, barely 14-year-old, I'm pretty sure, or barely 15, I don't remember. But she's the youngest one, and she was silent the whole time. She finally spoke, and we got her backstory that she was SA'd by a priest at her church, and then she got pregnant, and it was like a whole cover-up thing, so now she's here, and everyone is obviously like, okay, so we're gonna be part of this coven to learn the magic, so we can save Holly, because holy shit. And to be a part of the coven, they have to, like, they say some personal wish. It was a whole ritual thing, that I don't remember the details of, but yeah. Anyway, like, nothing happens until suddenly the book, that, like, they got to, that they got from the librarian originally starts to update and, like, change. And Zinna is very scared by this. It just, like, it wrecks her whole worldview because she's like, well, this means magic is real. Like, so that's, fuck that. I'm okay. I'm not going to be a part of this anymore. And yeah. So that happens, and then, I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah. Also before that, or around that same time, they can't go outside to meet with the librarian because, somehow it was found out that they snuck out. So, yeah, they can't, like, they can't sneak out again, because everyone's on high alert. So, yeah. Anyway, there's that, and then kind of nothing happens, I'm pretty sure, until Rose, we get to Rose's due date, and it's like the day before, or like 2 days before she's supposed to go to the hospital, and they're trying to get her to leave already, and she's like playing cards with all the other girls, and she's like, no, I'm not leaving, and keeps playing cards, and it escalates and escalates until it has to, like, be sedated and taken to the hospital. And Fern starts to realize that maybe they did that on purpose to get her to, like, to sedate her, to take her to the hospital earlier, because the way that the person who was trying to convince her, I don't remember who it was, but she was like, yeah, like, basically just pissing her off more and more on purpose, and Fern is like, oh, there's some bullshit going on. So yeah, there's that, and then, yeah, so Rose goes away, gives birth, and everybody is like, holy shit, worried about her, because they're like, oh my god, like, is she gonna be okay? Because, like, you know, giving birth. But anyway, then she comes back, and remember, she wanted to keep Blossom. She wanted to keep her baby. They took her baby away. She comes back, it's revealed they took her baby away. Are you fucking kidding me? So basically what happened is, like, they're like, yeah, no, you can't keep your kid. They used that and they were like, okay, well, we're going to keep you basically in the psych ward until you agree to give us ownership, because no one your age in their right state of mind who like can make sane decisions would choose to keep their baby. So yeah, they basically blackmailed her into giving Blossom up, which pissed me the fuck off, obviously. So Rose comes back, and then later that night, her and Fern sneak off to go meet with the witch, and they end up meeting the coven, and the witch, the librarian, she starts talking with Rose and is like, you know what? Yeah, I'll fucking teach you revenge. Um, and Fern, she's not fully convinced. She just wants to free Holly. So she goes to talk, she's basically like put at the kids' table. She goes to talk to the other witches, and they're all pretty old. Like the oldest one there was, or like the youngest one there, I don't remember, but she was at the end of the century, like she was born at the end of the last century, so like the 1800s. Yeah. So these bitches are old, but basically, Fern gets a speech of like, yeah, we're basically treated like shit in every single country, in every single culture, because we're women too, not because we're witches, because we're women, you know. They poison us, and if we survive, we're not witches, but until they start looking for witches again, and it's a whole speech that works really well, and I love that. I love this so much. It's so interesting so far. It's so good. Yeah, I think that's all that happened. Yeah, that's all that happened. So yeah. Anyway, now I'm going to talk about how I'm feeling about this. I'm thinking so far it's probably going to be around a 4-star for me. I think 4 or a 5-star, low-key, depending on how the rest of this goes. I'm loving it so far. I love her characters. I'm so glad that Rose is back. And like she's gonna fuck some stuff up, and I can't wait, because I'm pretty sure we're getting closer and closer to Fern being like, you know what? Fuck everybody, I'm gonna be a bad bitch. I really hope she doesn't stay the same of like, oh, I just want everything to go back to normal, because I'm gonna tweak if so, but yeah. Really excited. I can't wait to keep reading. Also, since it is the last day of January, and next month is just like February is my reading romance and like Black authors month, or like, you know, relationship related stuff too. I have a lot going on next month, but like I am not going to be reading this next month, so I need to finish it today. Which thank God I can push stuff off, like AP research stuff off until tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna go read up to chapter 25. So same thing of like how we stopped. Hold up, let me just give a page. I feel like it's easier to give a page than say what chapter, because yeah. Maybe that's me because I'm stupid though. Stop at page 290. So yeah, right here, stop right here. I'm gonna go read. I'm gonna go lock in. I'll be back in a bit to update. But yeah. Oh my god, my bangs have stopped working with me. Anyway, y'all. Okay. Oh, I just pulled on my hair. Anyway, I read 6 more chapters of Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. Okay, so I'm gonna do the update first, right? Sorry, I need to get back into filming. I'm so like, Anyway, okay. So, where we left off, Rose was going to do a spell on Mrs. Oh my god, Mrs. Wellwood, who is the woman who runs the house where they're staying at, Wellwood House. Anyway, yeah, so she does a spell on Mrs. Wellwood that's I think it's the same spell that was placed onto Homeboy in the first chapter, not the first chapter, but like in the first, you know, area where I talked about a spell happening. But yeah, so basically she wants to put all the pain that she felt onto Mrs. Wellwood. So she does that, but she leaves the house before it can be done, so she gives Fern the job of doing it, because, oh my god, I forget how to pronounce her name. Zinnia is like, girl, she's not, she still doesn't fuck with the magic, and Holly would flake, so Fern is gifted the responsibility. So she's like, okay, cool. And she's a little reluctant, but Fern does it when the time comes. Poisons Mrs. Wellwood, places a spell on her. And then, yes, nothing happens for a bit, and then Mrs. Wellwood stays home, which freaks out Fern a little bit, because Mrs. Wellwood has never had a sick day, ever, in her time of being there. So she's like, oh shit, did I kill her? She meets up with the witch librarian lady. I forgot her name. I don't know why. I just read this, but I forgot her name. But anyway, and the librarian lady is like, oh yeah, no, you didn't kill her. You just made her feel all the pain that Rose felt. And she's like, uh-huh, okay. And then she's like, oh, wait a minute, Holly, Holly, hey, how can we stop her from going home? How can we, save her? And the librarian's like, well, my coven does need a 13th member because I'm dying. And she's like, Fern, why don't you do it? Because you read the book. And Fern is like, but Holly. And she's like, I guess. Make Holly make it rain. So she tries to do that. She's like, hey, Holly, you can leave. But we gotta make it rain first. So they try to do that. Spell doesn't work because in order to make a spell work, you need to like make yourself feel pain. That's the exchange rate. And in order to really make it work, they were going to have her cut off the tip of her tongue. They were going to have Holly do that, except Holly, being a 14-year-old child, was like, yeah, no, I can't do that. Try to have Fern do it for her, but it wouldn't work. And then Hagar, who's the cook, oh, wait, let me backtrack a little bit before that. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. Hagar and her sister, which I didn't know she had a sister, her sister Meredith, I want to say, no, something with an M. There are a lot of names, I can't keep track of them all, but they sense something's wrong. They go to check out Mrs. Wellwood, because they're like, damn, this bitch has not been sick lately, or like in a long ass time, so let's check on her. And then essentially a really traumatic thing happens with Ms. Wellwood where she gives birth. That's right. She was pregnant with eels. She gives birth to eels, and it's actually really traumatic and really sad because you see like what happened to her when she was in the same situation as all the other girls, and you're like, oh shit, I feel really bad for her. Low-key kind of feel like she didn't deserve that. And yeah, I don't know, but yeah, yikes. So anyway, Hagar stumbles upon Holly and Fern, and she's like, sorry if you hear my garage door, my mom just got home, but and my room's right above the garage. But yeah, Hagar's like, hey, what the fuck, guys? And Fern immediately tries to lie and is like, it was just a game. And Hagar's like, bitch, I know what a witch smells like. BS, tell me what happened. So Fern like kind of filters the truth and is like, oh, we just made homeboy throw up. And she's like, no, tell me the whole truth. So she tells her the whole truth. And then Hagar burns the book and like gets rid of the spell, because you can't stop a spell when it's about to happen. That's going to make it even worse. So she like neutralizes the spell. And then Zinnia, who low-key probably ratted Holly and Fern out, is like, okay, she takes charge. She's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna tell library lady that we're not doing this witchcraft bullshit anymore, and we're gonna save Holly our goddamn selves. So they agree to do that. They go out to the book van when it comes next time, and the librarian is like, hey, so you gonna what happened to making it rain? And Fern is like, yeah, so actually we couldn't do it. It was too much. And the librarian's like, well, I still need a 13th member, so you're gonna have to do it. Or like I'm gonna need my book back. Ow, fuck. Sorry, I, like, almost broke my nail. But yeah, basically, Zinnia steps in and is like, yeah, no, Hagar burnt that shit. Or at least Fern says that. And the witch is like, what? Well, Fern, I need you then. Okay, we had a deal. And Zinnia steps in and is like, your deal is bullshit. So I got a little bit ahead of myself. I'm not gonna spoil what happened. Sorry, I accidentally enunciate. Anyway, I accidentally read a little bit further ahead because the audiobook, I didn't hear it switch chapters. My bad. Anyway, didn't spoil anything major. So, I almost did. I tried to film this and then, like, I spoiled it and then I was like, oh wait, I know where I am, never mind. But yeah, anyway. Okay, hold up. I have to bring out the finger mat. Never mind, I don't. Okay, we're gonna stop on chapter 31. Is there a 31 chapter? Is there a 31st chapter? Let me use... Yes, there is. Hold up. Let me find it. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, stop on page 372. So, right here. Yes, stop on that. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go shower. I'm gonna go shower because it's getting late and I want to shower and have a little bit of me time, and then I'm gonna get back to reading and I will update you guys once I have gotten to where we need to be. Yeah, anyway, see y'all in a few. Okay, y'all, so it is now later in the night. It's like 10 p.m. I kind of wanted the lighting to match. I also just didn't want to get up to turn that lamp on. But yeah, oh my god, I showered. I know I keep talking about my hair, but like when I style it, the way it styles, it straightens. So like when I wash it without styling it, not wash it, I already washed it today, but like when I style it without, or when I want, when it gets wet and I don't style it, and I'm just amazed at how it dries. That's what I was trying to say. Anyway. But yeah, I feel like the lighting is really catching the vibe and shit. Anyway, let's talk about the chapters, because I gotta try and finish this before midnight. And I got like an hour left, and I'm pretty sure I only have like an hour or two before midnight. But yeah, anyway, this was really emotionally intense. 6 chapters, deadass almost started crying. Yeah, so for those of you who aren't reading along and just want spoilers, so basically what happened, I believe where I left off, was Zinnia and Holly and Fern were all in the van with Miss Parse. I remembered her name, finally. That is the librarian witch's name, Miss Parse. And basically told her to fuck... Zinnia basically told her, fuck off, we're done with witchcraft. Anyway, they go back inside and try to live life as normal. They think it was that easy, and then I don't remember exactly what happened, but like really soon after, shit starts happening. So like we start off with raining rocks, pretty much, or that's exactly what it is. It rains rocks, I think, or does it hail? I kind of couldn't tell based off of the descriptions of what were happening, but it's like really bad. And it like sends girls to the hospital, sort of bad. And this is happening to everybody at the house, which is great. But anyway, that happens. My dog's moving around, sorry. Anyway, and then, yeah. So that happens, and then, the cook, I forgot her name. I know I said her name in the last clip. I remember the librarian's name. So, the one had to leave my head, I guess. But anyway, yeah. So, they're doing all that. And then the cook helps, like, she puts salt barriers and, like, protects the girls via that, so that way the witches can't get in. Later that night, the witches attack the house again. They just start banging on the doors and terrorizing everybody, which is so cute. And everybody's freaked out. They call the cops. Same with the Stones, too. They called the cops. Yeah, it was Stones, not hail, because they were able to be like, hey, hippies are throwing rocks at us. Their real excuse. But yeah, anyway. And then, what happens from there? Oh my god. I'm so bad at recalling stuff. But yeah, so from there, shit starts to go down. Oh, yeah. So once all that goes down, the house isn't attacked again. I think that's when the cook gives the girls, Holly, Zinnia, and Fern, these little bags where the witches can't see them when they're wearing it. However, we do find out that they can hear the girls still. So, because one night one of the girls is like, oh yeah, I saw that low-key a slur for people of color, like, or it's like a slur for people of color tradition. Damn, sorry, I just got like 2 or 3 holds at Libby and just the notification came in. But yeah, and she's like, she put salt all there, so now I have salt, because remember, they can't have salt here. And they're like, you did what? So they have to go put the salt back, and then Fern starts going into labor, so we're just, everything is happening at once. And then Miss Persay gets into the house, and we have to try and avoid her. And then the nurse comes downstairs, thank God, chases, basically, like, causes Miss Persay to leave. And then Fern gets taken to the hospital, and we get to read, like, I think it's only a chapter, maybe it's 2, but it's of Fern, like, going through the process of giving birth, and it's just, you see everyone's reactions to her when they find out her age, and it's so sad. It really is, because it's like, dude, they're treating her like shit, and, like, it literally, like, they don't help her onto the bed, and they're just so unsympathetic. They're like, yeah, yeah, I know it hurts, huh? And literally, the nurse is like, when she's like, has to check to see dilation, she's like, open your legs. Never thought I'd have to ask you again. Open your like, bitch. Damn, sorry, I'm getting so many books right now. Anyway, they keep going through, but it's like, dude, what the fuck? And then, yeah. So that happens. Fern gives birth. We read it from the point of view of the doctors, as I think they have to do a C-section on her. And then it's found out that she gets the husband stitch too, which I love that. I love that so much. I love that that's a thing. By the way, like, she doesn't have a ring on her finger either, so they're just doing this. I think the excuse verbatim was like, no future boyfriend will ever figure out what happened here. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I hate men so fucking much. Why the fuck is the husband stitch a thing? Pisses me off. Hot take. No, but, like, actually, anyway. Yeah. So that happens, and then Fern wakes up from giving birth, and she's like, oh my god, where's my baby? And immediately starts asking for her baby. Obviously, this is an issue, because she did sign her baby away, basically saying, like, they will adopt her, but she does have the option, at least in the book, to ask for the baby. So she asks the social worker who went with her, like, can I see him? Can I see him? Where is he? Which she asked the doctors at first, and they just ignore her, and it pissed me off so much. I know that's a thing with women in medical care, is doctors just be ignoring women, but it's so distressing. Oh my god, just reading it. Ugh. Anyway, yeah, so that happens, and then she does get to see her baby. And she starts to consider maybe not putting it up for adoption. She's like, maybe not, like, I made this, like, this is, I made this child with my body, like, I want to keep it. And of course, she does get talked out of it, because, surprisingly enough, the social worker actually does sit with her and is like, hey, like, speaks to her as an equal, is still being a little bit of a bitch. We'll get to that in a second, but she's like, at first, she's just like, hey, like, you're gonna, like, your life and this baby's life is going to be so much worse if you do not give it up. Like, it's beyond your love for this child. Your lives are gonna be so much harder because of that. And that is very true. I believe this is, I think, the 50s when this is taking place. I think we got confirmation on that. Not, I forget the date that was on, because you do get the child's birth certificate, which also turned out to be a girl too, which is sweet. But yeah, that was just a little additive. Jesus Christ, sorry. I keep getting Libby notifications for audiobooks. Oh my god. Anyway, yeah. So it was really sweet. And like, anyway, so yeah, she has to make this tough decision, and it's so heartbreaking, just like as she comes to terms with, holy shit, I have to give this is the better option. This isn't just what they were telling me. Like, this is unfortunately the better option for the time we're in, and it sucks. But then the social worker is a bitch again, and she's also like, oh yeah, and also you're gonna have to pay a lot of bills because you don't want to give it up. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to add that right now. You don't. That was unnecessary. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, and then Miss Persay visits Fern again, which she did also earlier as Fern was giving birth. That was a whole thing that I forgot to add, but like doesn't do anything. She just shows her. I don't remember really what she shows her. It was kind of like that like weird dream sequence in that one horror movie with Sydney Sweeney where it's like, oh, that was random. Anyway, yeah. And she's like, you need to make a decision. And Fern literally, like, after a while arguing with Miss Persay, she's like, I'm 15. I'm a fucking child. My dog is over me, but like, she's like, dude, y'all are expecting so much of me. You're making me make impossible decisions. I'm a child. What the fuck? I'm not grown yet. Give me like 10 minutes at least to just like sort shit out. Oh my god. But yeah, basically Miss Persay, she also tells Miss Persay to get the fuck away from her kid. Thank God. I swear to God, if the witches try to do something to that baby, I'm gonna get so pissed. But yeah, so that happens, and basically in the end, she does give her child up for adoption, but she does keep her name as like the mother on the birth certificate, so that way the child can find her, which like, the social worker sees as an accident and like almost gets her a new one, and Fern is like, no, that was not a mistake. And the social worker's like, oh, okay. Which I'm so glad she did not fucking argue with that. I would have been so pissed. But yeah. And then Fern immediately realizes, shit, I chose for myself and not my daughter. Or, yeah, her daughter. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. I swear to God, if that's implying that her daughter's in danger now, I'm gonna lose my shit. Or, hello, I swear to God. Anyway, sorry, that took me so long because I was like trying to recall things as I talked, and it's late, so my brain functions low. That's definitely how that works. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish this book, okay? So if you're reading along with me, come back when you finish this book and we'll talk. Okay, y'all, it's 5 minutes to midnight, and I have finally finished Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady, Hendrix. Oh my god. Okay, y'all. So, sorry, I had to take my bookmark out, but I will obviously do the recap, and then I will give my final thoughts. So, okay, where we left off, I don't remember, but, basically, oh, right, okay, so, Fern returns to the home and is just kind of out of it. Makes sense, she went through a lot of emotional trauma, but yeah, she's kind of out of it, and she's hopeless and really fucking depressed because she's beaten herself up over what she did. Yeah, so then Zinnia, am I still, okay, yeah, Zinnia, I was right. Zinnia not confronts, but like, is like, hey, now that you're back, we still need to figure out how the fuck to save Holly, and actually I came up with a plan where she's gonna go with, I just had her name, but the cook. She's gonna go with the cook, and we're gonna get her out of here, and she's gonna live a good, healthy life. And Fern says no, says your plan is bullshit. She's just gonna have to give birth like me, like the rest of us. We can't do anything to save her, basically. And that goes on for a while until actually, wait, no, we don't get there. But first, right, okay. The Reverend Jerry, who is the man who not only SA'd Holly several times and made her pregnant, and he made her pregnant. So yeah, he shows up at the fucking house, and Fern, in order to not alarm Xenia, doesn't say who the visitor is. She's just like, oh, not my business, which pissed me off. But yeah, basically that happens, and then later that night, Holly is like trying to hide the fact that she's given birth because she's freaking the fuck out for several reasons. And Fern, Zinnia gets Fern help because she's like, holy shit, what's happening? And Fern tells the nurse and sends Holly to the hospital, which will basically result in the Reverend getting the child, and also, if he has, if he has access to that child, since he's an awful person, we all know what could happen in the future. So we're saving Holly and this new baby. We're trying to, at least. Fern is not being cooperative, okay? So, gets to the point, we get into the taxi. The adults, only the taxi man's the only adult, because another girl is like, she's having some medical complications. So yeah. Anyway, and Fern is like, no, we're going to the hospital. Doesn't let Xenia try to put the plan into action until Holly starts to she really starts to look at Holly, and then she starts to realize what the fuck she is sending Holly to. This 14-year-old little girl, what life she is committing Holly to. So she's like, holy shit, I lied. We're going to Hagar's house. I fucking remembered her name. So they pull up to Hagar's house, and Hagar's like, bro, take these kids to the hospital. What are you doing? But then they look at Holly and they're like, holy shit, we don't have time for the hospital. We gotta get this bitch inside. Taxi man drives off, to go to the hospital, so that way, he doesn't lose his job and shit. They help Holly give birth, and the baby is almost a stillborn. However, Hagar helps revitalize it. Baby survives. It's all good. It's really emotional, and like a really low-key. Sorry, I chugged water, so now I'm losing it. But anyway, so yeah, that was really intense. But anyway, baby survives. We're good. The plan is to get Holly and her baby to somebody else's house. They start to do that. The second they get onto the road, all the adults are like, hey, actually, what the fuck are you doing here? Why are you not at the hospital? You almost killed Holly, you selfish bitches. What are you doing? And they're like, oh shit. And the Reverend's there. Well, no, he isn't. We pull up to the house, right? Fern has given in until she's sitting in the car. She's sitting at the car. She sees the Reverend, grab the baby and start to hold it. And she feels sick because, yeah, I would fucking too, but she gets out of the car. She's like, I'm gonna be sick, tells the cops, so she gets the fuck out of the car. And I also forgot to mention this earlier because I didn't think that it was gonna be as important as it was. But basically, when Holly tried to summon I don't know if I said it, but anyway, I'm just bringing it up. When Holly tried to summon the rain, Hagar put the spell in a jar basically and buried it. So Fern goes to unbury the spell because she's like, we need to do something. But she still has the little thing around her neck that prevents the witches from seeing her and also her from seeing magic. So she takes it off. Whatever. Opens the spell. And when I tell you a biblical level storm is released, it is released. It fucks shit up, okay? But then a couple of minutes later, the storm dies down, and yeah, and then, what the fuck happened next? Oh my god. Oh yeah, and then Miss Per Se, Miss Perse shows up because obviously, like, she took the fucking thing so Miss Perse could see Fern, and Fern gets the fuck out of there. She starts running. She sees the Reverend and is like, I'm gonna kill his ass, because he's like under what, like, he could very easily drown in a puddle that's right next to him. And she's like, I'm gonna shove his face into the puddle. Actually, I'm not, because I don't have the capacity for revenge like Rose does, because Rose would have done that shit. And I'm low-key upset about that, but that's okay. I guess. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Fern books it, finds out that Zinnia, Holly, and her baby are all safe. So she keeps booking it. Fern books it, tries to get into the woods, and then the witches surround her, and Miss Perse is like, I swear to like, basically unleashes this massive god onto Fern, which I will say I really respected that scene, because basically Fern is like, by the way, oh yeah, to cause the spell she had to like cut really deeply into her tongue. Tried to cut it off, it didn't work, but or like the tip of it off, but still. Anyway, so she's like gone through some shit tonight, right? But she's like fucking, she hears them trying to summon their god, and she's like, oh really? She literally says like, I have given birth. At this point, your little god is gonna do fucking nothing. And then it starts to fuck shit up, and she's like, oh shit, that is a god. Like, you weren't that is, oh. And she starts to go a little bit insane, because, you know, a god. But anyway, she's snapped out of it, because Holly starts fucking chewing, starts, like, biting Miss Perse. Love Holly, she's a queen. And she's like, take me, bitch. And Miss Perse is like, no, it has to be Fern, you're not ready. And the other witches start to be like, whoa, like, you're willing to like risk the death of like these 3 little girls, because Zinnia shows up too. They're like, you're willing to risk 3 deaths because some shit's gonna happen, instead of just like taking a chance on the 14-year-old who's willing. Okay, girl. So not happening. And yeah, they're like, we'll take a chance on Holly. And Holly, she wants to run away, by the way. Like, she does not want to fucking live like this. She's like, get me out of society, bro. I don't want to fucking be here anymore. It's fucked me over. I'm done with this shit. So she wants out anyway. And Miss Perse is like, oh my god, because the point, I did forget to mention this, is also that, like, why she's trying to get Fern to, like, carry on all the stories of, like, all the past witches, in Hecate's timeline. I don't remember which mythology that is, or if that's a but, like, yeah. So, it's, like, a family of witches that they're and yeah, so that's why she needs Fern, and that's what Holly, and she's like, we're gonna lose all these stories, though, if it doesn't work, and the witches are like, well, yeah, past bitches or current girls, like, I don't know, we're gonna take a chance on Holly, and Miss Perse is like, fine, I guess, fuck you, but sure. So yeah, Holly goes to live with the witches, Holly and her baby, and then, since, you know, the whole storm thing happened, and I shit you not, it was biblical level. Nobody's really, like, kind of upset at them trying to, like, you know, help Holly run away, and she got away anyways. But, like, yeah. So she gets to go live a normal life, and then we cut to 54 years later. Here's something Grady Hendrix loves to do in his fucking books, is to cut several years in the future, like a long ass time in the future, and just kind of break your heart a little bit. But basically, Fern is writing a note to somebody we don't know, or Neva. Now she's back to being Neva. Neva's writing a note to somebody who we can assume who, right? But she's basically like, listen, you need to understand this shit. You need to understand that we weren't just girls. We weren't girls. We were witches. Okay, fuck you. But, like, we were witches, as kids. And, like, yeah. And we find out that, like, she found contact with Rose, she found contact with Zinnia, thank God, found out their real identities, met up with them in real life, and managed to reconnect with her daughter, though it took her a long time. But, like, it managed to happen. And she's writing this whole note, and basically this whole book, in order to, like, have her daughter understand kind of what the fuck was going on, and like what, you know, why their lives are the way they are. But yeah, and it was really sad and it was really sweet, and it ends on a good note, because everyone's alive, living the lives they should have. Yeah, this was so good. This was so good. Okay, let me get into my thoughts on this now. I'm gonna give this a 4-star. Because I want to rate this a 4.5 or a 5. But here's the thing, is there were some issues with it for me. I feel like there was just kind of a time where I couldn't figure out if we were trying to make the witches the bad guys or not. And that uncertainty was just a little annoying to me. Also, Fern just, like, being like, no, actually, I'm super unsympathetic to Holly right now. I'm like, whoa, I know you went through some shit. Hold the fuck up, okay? No matter what I went through, I would try and save Holly. Okay, I know that I will never have to worry about what Fern is going through. However, like, Holly's situation is, like, extremely awful, so, like, you know, I'm gonna have some sympathy, okay? And I would try my fucking best. I feel like we could have done something better than just make her unsympathetic. Yeah, and also, there was use of a certain word. The way I'm saying it is, it sounds like, I don't know if I can say it, and as a white person, I'm not gonna risk that. So, but, I mean, it's a historically, and I'm not saying that it's not, like, I don't think it's like a slur, but it's just a word that's like, whoa, whoa, it's historically accurate during the time period. However, I just found it unnecessary. I don't know. I'm not the person to speak on this. Why? Like, look at people, you know, how people of color talk about this book, and, you know, take their opinions, not mine. Take mine with a grain of salt. But, like, it just felt a little weird. Grady Hendrix writing black characters always just feels a little weird because he'll say some shit, and I'm like, I don't think you can say that, actually. I feel like that's racist a little bit. Not just black people, actually. People of color in general. I think he needs to learn how to write people of color better. Low-key. But, like, again, don't just take my word for it. Look at actual people of color's reviews of his stuff and, like, their opinions. But yeah, so yeah, I can't rate this higher than a 4. Just, like, that and the several issues that I had with this, you know? However, I do think that, like, it wasn't a massive theme, so that's why I feel comfortable rating it a 4. But yeah, this was amazing. I really do think this was a very strong story. It is very slow, especially if you're just physically reading it. I always read with the audiobook, so I didn't get, like, I knew it was slow, but it, like, the slow part felt faster, you know what I mean? So, like, it never really felt too slow for me. And I really enjoyed the story. I really did. I had a great time, and I love this so much. I think this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Grady Hendrix that I've read. Low-key might be up there with the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires and Best Friend's Exorcist. Like, those are my 2 favorite. This might be up there with them. Like, this was so good. I had so much fun reading this. But yeah, tell me if you read along, tell me what you thought down below. You know, if you liked it, if you didn't, what you did like about what you didn't, you know. Yeah, tell me everything, and yeah, this, also, a little final note. Sorry if I feel like I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but sorry if the editing in this video is very poor, as I am learning how to edit on iMovie. I previously was editing my videos on CapCut, but I don't have access to that because I don't think ByteDance is back on the App Store yet, which is so annoying. But yeah, I really, really, like, I'm trying to learn iMovie, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Also, sorry if this was kind of a mess. This was my first vlog, and I'm so happy this is the first vlog that I've finished ever. I've tried to film so many since July, and the end of June last year, bro, since I started this channel, and I just, like, have not made it to the end of one, and I'm so happy to have done that. I do have some, actually, by the time you're seeing this, it's probably somewhere in February, but yeah, since it is probably sometime in February, 1000%, it is February. Right now, it's February 1st. It's midnight. But, like, yeah, you should go watch some of the vlogs that I hopefully have posted, for this month. Because I'm pretty, right now I have stuff planned for this month. We'll see how that goes. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm so tired. This is the latest I've stayed up in a month. So yeah, love y'all. Good night.